Hey guys, this is Chris from StormLifestyle. In this video I'm going to tell you how I like to warm up specifically for my strength training sessions. In my previous video you've seen my personal general warm-up routine, which basically consists of things like dynamic stretching, mobility drills, and I basically recommended focusing on the areas you want to improve at, mobility and flexibility wise. Furthermore, cardio I mentioned is a fully optional thing. Like if you've been sedentary all day and you're driving to the gym, it might be a good idea to get like 3 to 5 minutes of cardio in to slightly get your heart rate up, get your body warm. A warm-up might look like optional cardio, a little bit of mobility work, stuff with the bands and all, some dynamic stretching, and afterwards you obviously proceed to a specific warm-up, warming up for the specific exercise that you're about to perform. One big thing about the specific warm-up that I often see done wrong is that people put too much work into their warm-up sets. A lot of reps, a lot of volume basically for their warm-up sets, and it leaves them pretty pre-fatigued before actually starting their dang working sets, the stuff that really matters. I'm basically going to show you how I warm up. You will see that I generally keep my warm-up reps pretty low. I like to focus on technique, getting a groove in. I want to make sure I have a lot of energy left in me when I actually have to do working sets. Without further ado, let's get to it. When I actually start my squat, I like to get familiar with the squatting position, so I hold on to something, make sure I get nice and deep, comfortable in this position, basically in the squatting position, keeping the weight on the heels obviously. Doing a little bit of this. Then I usually start with the bar. I try to take each rep as seriously as I can. So about 10 reps with the bar. When I start adding weight, I really like to keep the reps on the lower end. I would say keep them between 1 to 6-ish. As an example, when I'm working up to a working weight of 140 kilograms for 5 reps today, then my warm-up sets might look like this. 10 with the bar, 30 kilos each side, making it 60 kilograms. About 5 reps from here on. Next, I like to jump up to 100 kilograms. You could kind of look at it like this. 100% is going to be your working weight, so ramp it up for your first few exercises in your training session. Like start with the bar, obviously, then maybe at like 20 to 25% of your 100% for that day. Then move up to like 40%, maybe 60%, 80%. Basically make small increments, keep the reps fresh and explosive, and drop the reps as you get near your working set weight. I started with 10 reps with a bar, then I did 5 reps with 60 kilograms. Then I'm going to move to around the 3 to 5 rep zone for the next increments. And when I get somewhat close to my working weight, I like to keep it at either single reps or doubles. Basically work my way up to my working set like that. You don't need a lot of rest in between these warm-up sets in my opinion. Just make sure you're fresh and that everything feels explosive, and conserve a lot of energy for the real work. 100 kilograms. I'm already really focusing on my breathing pattern here, going up to 120 kilograms. Now I might just make a smaller step up to 130 kilograms. Okay, so from here on I'm getting kind of close to my planned example working set weight. I might drop the reps 3 to 2, then one more warm-up set might be a single rep. Something else I might do is add in a prime set. I do this for a few exercises. I find it works particularly well for squats. It might work for bench press and chin-ups quite well. So for some heavy compound movements. Prime set is basically going above your working set and basically busting out usually a single. I would advise not to go higher than 90% of 1 RM, because if you go higher than that, chances are that it might be a little bit of a grinder rep. Probably accumulated a little bit too much fatigue before you actually start your working set. A single with 140, let's say that's my planned weight for today. So I basically did a single with the weight that I'm about to hit for my working set. Basically doing this and going above this working set weight, the prime set, it's a physical and mental preparation for the real work. Because basically if you lifted a higher increment before, then you'll feel confident, you've already had the load on your back, you've already lifted it. So dropping in load afterwards a little bit will make it feel much more doable because you've already lifted something heavier. I wouldn't recommend them for absolute beginners who are still struggling with good technique and stuff like that. Just move to your work sets. If you're just moving up an advanced intermediate, you might find it worth your while to experiment with these prime sets for certain movements. Alright, so time for a prime set. If you're feeling particularly well, you might do something like move up your prime set even more. For me personally, it's fun to see that over time I'm slightly moving my prime set up for a certain exercise. 150. And that might be my final prime set of the day. It's kind of bonus squatting, and I'm kind of surprised that it's actually moving a little bit well. Because I already hit a PR for myself today with 5 reps with 148 kilograms. Yay for me. But yeah, that's basically how I would recommend warming up for something like the squat. A max of 3 to 5 warm-up sets for your heavy compound movements at the start of your session. If you would do an upper body movement afterwards, warm up in a similar fashion. Afterwards, you're usually pretty warm for all the other exercises in your training session, and you don't need that much else of a warm-up for all the exercises you're going to do. So don't do 3 to 5 warm-up sets for your cable lateral raises, your bicep curls, etc. If you want to do a warm-up set at all for those, maybe just do one set at 50%. Keep the reps low, just make sure you're feeling the movement properly. Don't pre-fatigue yourself for the real working sets. That's basically how I would recommend you to warm up specifically for your exercises. Conserve a lot of energy for the stuff that really matters. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the next.